Hello and welcome to the news at 10 on NTA News 24, live from Abuja. I am Stella Inamiti. The headlines. President Bola Tinubu calls on Nigerian leaders to uphold moral values with boldness. Senate reaffirms no subsisting court order mandates recall of Senator Natasha and treats her to respect due process. Federal government widens use of cleaner energy in transport sector, holds mechatronics training in Kano. Addressing child malnutrition, Borno State government enters partnership with UNICEF. Thanks for joining us. The news in full. President Bola Tinubu has enjoined leaders, particularly in the southwest, to carry on the values of consistency, sincerity and boldness that the late Awujale of Ijebuland Oba Sikiru Akayode Adetona represented. President Tinubu was in Ijebu Ode at the 8th day prayers for the late monarch. State House correspondent Musbah Dan Wahab reports.
This is another important outing for President Bola Tinubu and First Lady Oluremi. The president returning to the palace of Awujale in Ijebu-Ode, to where he made his first official visit shortly after his inauguration in 2023. This time to honor the memory after the exit of one of the monarchs he so revered. Even in death, President Tinubu carried on the love and respect for the departed as he proceeded to the Dikpo Dinner Stadium for the 8th day prayers. Dignitaries joined Ijebu indigenes here to seek God acceptance for the 57th Awujale at the end of his 65-year reign.
Our tomorrow, will it be better than today? It depends on what we are doing.
President Tinubu, who recounted the role of the king in the June 12th struggle and the support he got from him ahead of his election, believed the monarch lived a fulfilled life characterized by great virtues.
Leader of conscience, tradition, and a great value. He brought pride, dignity, and honor to the Yoruba race. I'm extremely proud of him. Very honest, very bold, very courageous, very truthful. He will not deceive you. We have to be more united. His legacy we endure. It's left for you and I to reflect the culture, the value that he represented. God Almighty will grant him a legion of fidelis.
Under his watchful gaze and inspirational leadership, Ijebuland witnessed unprecedented progress. It became the bridge between our cherished past and our promising future. His enduring contribution to the unity, pride, and identity of Ijebu people will be remembered for many generations.
He was also at the palace where he met and condoled with family members of the departed traditional ruler. The President and First Lady Oluremi paid their last respect as they laid wreaths on the royal tomb of the deceased. Late Oba Sikiru Akayode Adetona, whose demise coincided with that of former President Muhammadu Buhari, was 91. The President is back in Abuja. Musbah Dan Wahab, NTA News.
And the most senior member of the Buhari family, the family of the late President Muhammadu Buhari, Malam Mamad Daura, has on behalf of the family expressed gratitude to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his wife, the First Lady, Senator Remi Tinubu, for their role and that of government of the Federation before and after the passing of the former president. A statement by Garba Shehu, late President Buhari's spokesman, states that the family is truly comforting to receive such support from the president and the vice president, Kashim Shettima, who went to the United Kingdom and was in Daura for the days he and the ministers during the mourning period. The family is deeply grateful to the president on his thoughtful gestures in declaring a public holiday and renaming the University of Maiduguri after Buhari. Gratitude also goes to leaders of the various countries around the globe who either came in person, sent representatives, letters, or placed personal telephone calls to commiserate with Nigerians on this. With us on special notes were those of the King of England, King Charles III, the Secretary General of the United Nations, the Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed, the Chairman of the African Union, and that of the Committee of Heads of State and Government of ECOWAS countries, and the former Head of State of Nigeria, Abdulsalam Abubakar, among other dignitaries. Still on the late former president, Muslims in their numbers have held a special prayer session for the repose of the soul of Muhammadu Buhari. The dua session, which coincided with the 7th day of his departure, was organized by the Ansaruddin Islamic Society. Abubakar Akwanga reports.
It was a solemn moment at the Ansaruddin Mosque, but this time tears and sorrows had fizzled away and were replaced with fervent prayers for the repose of the soul of the late former president Muhammadu Buhari. Islamic scholars and other religious adherents observed recitation of the glorious Quran from Surah Al-Fatiha to Baqarah and performed communal supplication for forgiveness and mercy upon the departed. Former ministers in the late president's cabinet and other prominent Nigerians who attended the 7th-day prayer session described Buhari as a true patriot who redefined leadership in Nigeria and appreciated President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for his exemplary leadership during the demise of the former president.
We'll continue to pray for him. Everybody is praying for him, and we thank everyone for the prayers.
I may not have worshipped with them the way they worship, but at least I was present to honor President Buhari.
Continue to pray for him, whether you're Muslim or Christian. We ask all our leaders, from councillor to president, that she emulate him.
I recommend every prayer, and prayer also for our leaders.
Scholars and personalities appealed to Nigerians to sustain prayers for present and departed Nigerian leaders who fought and are still fighting for the unity, peace, stability, and progress of the Nigerian state. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
Imo State Police Command says it has recorded tremendous success in its intensified fight against violent crimes across the state. A statement by the command's public relations officer, Henry Okoye, states that over the past 6 months, operatives of the command has arrested 2,785 suspects who engaged in various crimes ranging from kidnapping, terrorism, child trafficking, armed robbery, among others. The operations resulted in the rescue of 42 stolen children, many of whom have since been reunited with their families. The statement also notes that among the key suspects arrested include notorious members of the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, and its armed affiliate Eastern Security Network, ESN, alleged to be responsible for multiple attacks on security formations and public infrastructure in Njaba local government area of the state. The suspects were arrested when the operatives of the command raided their camp in the area. The suspects, during interrogations, confessed to the kidnap and murder of one Emmanuel Oguzie, allegedly on the orders of their commander known as Asari. Also arrested is a kidnap gang who allegedly kidnapped their victim in his compound at Akabo in Ikeduru local government area on June 20, 2025, and held him in one of their members' residence. The suspects had already collected 2.2 million naira ransom before the joint operation by the operatives of the command and local vigilante led to their arrest while their victims was rescued. Nigeria's security agencies have recorded notable successes in the fight against crime and insurgency, prompting renewed conversations around national security, legal frameworks, and civic responsibility as the military calls on Nigerians to avoid enlisting in foreign armies. Questions arise about the role of the law, policy reforms, and how best to support their armed forces here in Nigeria. Let's now explore these critical issues with a legal expert, delving into how the judiciary can reinforce accountability, the implications of recent security gains, and the steps Nigeria must take to secure long-term stability. Joining us now is Aliyu Anas, a legal practitioner. Welcome to the News at 10.
Welcome. Thank you.
Okay, now, in light of recent wins against crimes and insurgency, how would you assess actions of security agencies, and what does the success mean for public confidence in the rule of law?
Everyone knows in this country that security agencies are doing well, and we have seen so many sources, like recovery of arms, rescues, victims, and other areas that are doing. And, the security agencies need more support so that they'll continue having more success in the crime against the terrorism and other miniature crimes. And if you look at the, current government and on the security sector, you see more, especially the military section, you see they are doing very, very well because they have taken the area of collaborations and with all the security agencies together. No, they don't work alone, and that is why peace and development is offshooting in Nigeria. And we begin to, if the securities are not one, are not united, the success will not be huge, will be mitigated. But you see now, more especially the armed forces of Nigeria under the leadership of General C.G. Musa, he seriously, take legal concept and his good leadership as to come, to collaborate, to bring more, security agencies together, that the problem is not only for one security sector, but for all, that everybody should bring his own ideas. And that is what is bringing more success to this country. And, unity in anything is very vital and substantial for the peace and development of the country. So that's what is always doing in this country, collaboration, national and internationally, because if you can remember the last, conference, our last game, our Africa military game that held, that is unity with the whole, Africa. And now, very soon, by August, on 25th of August, we'll see, Africa, conference, Africa Chief of Defense Staff Summit. That is also unity that will, foster dialogue, collective and cooperation, collaboration to deal with regional security. And these are the ideas that are doing well. So all what we need, we have seen the success, and we hope that Nigeria will be in peace.
Okay, so now, recently, the Nigerian military urged citizens not to enlist in foreign armies or mercenaries. From a legal point of stand, how can Nigeria strengthen these laws to discourage such actions while offering meaningful engagement opportunities within the continent?
In anything you are doing, once you have a talent to contribute to the riding out the security challenges, no need to go to any other places. And because we are here, you're an individual of Nigeria, and that's you need to display your talents. to the security challenges. So for going to outside country, I have not seen that is something substantial, because you have a country and you go outside there to contribute to other people's countries. There's no need of your talent. And the law that nobody restricts them from going, but there's no law that prohibits anybody from going to outside country to for that foreign cause or other things. What we are saying is that any Nigeria we all have a role to play. That everybody, whether by using of intelligence positions or physical advice, can be able to come and contribute to the development of this country, because the security agency cannot do alone, and all Nigerians also have a role to play. You can see, you see an informant that security will not know who is the informant, who is close to you, who is your neighbor, that is staring at your activities to ponder upon. Security cannot do that, because Nigeria are more populated than the security. So no matter how miniature role you have to also contribute, and that will strengthen and then give the security shoot the morale of the security, and then when we are united, and the national, the local people, and that's the vigilantes and other people to also contribute to their talent. Why would they go to outside country or foreign to go and develop there when their country is having some miniature security challenges? So it's better. I'm not supporting that. There's no law that stops them, but to give a legal advice legally is for them to be here to work within the jurisdiction of Nigeria, so that we have peace.
Okay, now, as a legal practitioner, what role do you believe the judiciary and legal community can play in supporting the continued professionalism and accountability of Nigeria's security agencies?
Our judicial system sometimes we play a role that is not very fast. We need to have a special or fast legal procedures, so that for the terrorism, so that the lashes should not be always occur in the judiciary. Delayment is something that is a thing that weak our judicial system. So if every, like for other countries, if every issues that has special courts, that judgment or procedure will go fast. Like in terrorism, we should not play with terrorism sector or issue that related to security challenges. If we have such special court for that, because they look at the military, they are doing well, but when the matter comes to our courts, I'm a legal practitioner, I cannot say something about judiciary. Why? Because it's delays, and delays sometimes cause a lot of issues. And then we should establish a special course for counter-terrorism. We should bring an idea of a special legal procedure, so that the issue of terrorism will not be delayed, because terrorism touches everybody. Without the people, there won't be the country, and then without the country, there won't be the people. And that is why, if you see under Section 230, we have a Supreme Court, which is the apex court in Nigeria, and they're doing also well. Most of the other courts are doing well, but what we are saying is that they should be able to also do more to avoid the whole issue of delayment, because the other securities, they are doing their best. We should also do our best. We are doing well. We are doing very, very well. We don't allow cases to go like that. We treat it well, but delayment matters. We do take delayment because of urgent.
Okay, thank you so much, Barrister Aliyu Anas,
thank you
for your thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now we'll take a short break. When we return, more news. Stay with us.
I am Oluremi Tinubu, the global and national Stop TB champion. Many people have asked why I've chosen to champion the fight against a disease like tuberculosis. My reason stems from a deep personal experience. I once had a friend who unfortunately fell ill and concealed the nature of his sickness until it was too late. Eventually, after he passed, we discovered he had tuberculosis. Sadly, due to the stigma and discrimination surrounding the disease, he would not speak up or seek for help. His death was a painful reminder that we could have intervened and saved a life if only we had known earlier. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease that primarily affects the lungs, but can also impact other parts of the body. Being airborne means anyone, regardless of their socio-economic status, can contract it. In Nigeria, 1 person dies of TB-related illness every 7 minutes, amounting to 206 deaths every day. Globally, 1 person succumbs to TB every 25 seconds, which is a staggering 3,456 lives lost daily. These deaths are entirely preventable because TB is curable if detected and treated early. If you or someone you know has been coughing for 2 weeks or more, coughing up blood, experiencing night sweats, or losing weight drastically, it might be TB. Please visit the nearest government hospital or primary healthcare center for proper diagnosis and treatment. TB treatment is free in all government and some private health facilities. Let us also remember not to stigmatize or discriminate against TB patients or those who have been treated for TB. Individuals who have been cured of TB cannot infect others. I call on all stakeholders, especially the private sector, to join us in the fight to end TB in Nigeria. Together, we can make a difference. Remember, TB anywhere is TB everywhere. End TB by 2030. Yes, we can.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Now to the National Assembly. The Senate reaffirms that there is no subsisting court order mandating the Senate to recall Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan before the expiration of her suspension. Chairman, Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Yemi Adaramodu, in a statement says this clarification becomes necessary following the circulating claims by the suspended senator that she intends to resume at the Senate next Tuesday based on a misinterpretation of the recent judgment delivered by Justice Binta Nyako of the Federal High Court, Abuja. He adds that it was surprising and legally untenable that Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan, while on appeal and having filed a motion for stay against the valid and binding orders made against her, is attempting to act upon an imaginary order of recall that does not exist. The statement advised the senator to refrain from any attempt to storm the Senate next Tuesday, as doing so would not only be premature but also undermine the dignity of the Senate and violate due process. The Senate, he says, as a law-abiding institution, is committed to upholding the rule of law and the integrity of its proceedings, and it will not tolerate the disruption of its proceedings. To ask Senator Natasha to respectfully stay away from the Senate chambers and allow due process to run its full course. Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives and Chairman House Committee on Constitution Review has assured Nigerians that their submissions for the ongoing review of the 1999 Constitution will be duly transmitted to the National Assembly for consideration. He made this known at the Southeast Center B during the ongoing Constitution Review public hearing in Owerri. Beatrice Anyam reports that prominent among the demands of the people is creation of more states for the zone.
For participants at the 1999 Constitution Review public hearing for Southeast Center B, comprising Imo and Abia states, the event afforded them the opportunity to make inputs in the efforts to address lapses in the nation's constitution. Various groups took time to analyze some of their concerns, some of which include the creation of more states, reservation of 182 seats for women in the national and state assemblies, well-equipped education system, as well as the independence of the judiciary and INEC. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodimma and his Abia State counterpart, represented by his deputy Ikechukwu Emeto, called for decentralization of policing and active participation of women in the country's leadership and all-inclusive governance.
I wish to call for the constitutional encouragement of rotational presidency, not along the ambiguous north and south divide. Since we have 6 geopolitical zones, it should be included into our constitution.
I will vote for the creation of state police, but with the proviso that standards be clearly defined.
The Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, and Chairman, House Committee on Constitution Review, Benjamin Okezie-Kalu, who disclosed that the committee is considering 87 prioritized constitutional amendment bills, each touching on the most pressing issues facing the nation, promised to convey all the inputs made by the stakeholders to the National Assembly.
The people have spoken, the Parliament has listened, we will go back to the plenary and then look at it.
It is the expectations of the people that the process will yield the desired results. In Owerri, Beatrice Anyam, NTA News.
A delegation from the House of Representatives Committee on the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, has embarked on an oversight tour of federal road projects in the Northeast and Northwest, expressing concerns over the pace and quality of work delivered by contractors. The oversight visit, covering Borno, Yobe, and Jigawa states, is part of efforts to assess the implementation of road projects approved in the 2024 national budget. Pauline Kujevana reports.
In Borno State, where insecurity continues to hinder reconstruction efforts, the committee could not physically access major roads like the Dekwanga-Barungala Highway leading to Cameroon and the Maiduguri-Damboabu Road. Instead, they were briefed by Federal Road Maintenance Agency FEMA representatives overseeing road works in the state, where the chairman and members of the committee raised observations regarding the challenges presented. In Yobe State, Governor Mai Malabuni received the delegation and decried the effect of climate change on road infrastructure, expressing dissatisfaction with the slow pace of federal road projects and requested the reconstruction of the Gedam-Menaso border route to enhance security and tackle transborder crimes.
These visits, like I said, will help us to address especially the fixing of our roads.
As the committee proceeded to Dute, the capital of Jigawa State, they inspected ongoing works along the Darazo-Misau-Birnin-Kudu Road corridor, where further observations were made on project delivery. Governor Umar Namadi of Jigawa commended the federal government's commitment to revamping road infrastructure, but urged renewed attention to economically strategic roads that have been abandoned.
As of today, Mr. Chairman, Jigawa State is #1 in Nigeria in terms of road networks.
Chairman of the House Committee on FEMA, Aderemi Osheni, praised FEMA's efforts despite limited resources and assured that the National Assembly will work closely with the executive to ensure improved funding for the agency.
What we have covered so far and what has been recovered from the work done is as if we have not really made sufficient progress.
The oversight visit concluded with a recommendation that road projects be equitably distributed across all states to promote fairness and national inclusiveness. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. More reports after this break. Stay with us.
It's refreshing and impacting. Are you interested in contributing to the Nigerian project? Are you keen on adding your voice to the making of the Nigeria of our dream? Are you willing to be part of the new tribe of Nigeria that are sold on doing the right thing always? Then join the conversation every Saturday by 5 p.m. on Impact Nigeria on NTA News 24. It's a live interactive discussion program that focuses on values, reorientation, and nation building. Join our team of passionate Nigerians as they dissect key ethical issues that impact Nigeria and Nigerians. Be part of our program live and via our social media platforms. Saturdays, 5 p.m. and repeat broadcast Sundays, 1:03 p.m. Impact Nigeria Coming soon on NTA News 24. Join us.
Thanks for staying with us. Mentoring Nigerian youths and aspiring professionals in making quality decisions that will impact their careers and aspirations formed the focus of a summit convened by the Productive Youth Network for a Nigeria of Possibilities with Future-Ready Workforce. Tokwe Alabi reports on the team's engagement with the youths in Abuja.
In 2025, Nigeria's unemployment rate risen to 4.84% with an estimated 3.9 million jobless and 5.74 million unemployed and a projected labor force of 237.53 million people. This summit on the future of work seeks to invest and inspire youths to acquire employable skills to connect with realities of the labor market.
So 3 things that we should look at taking from here: mindset, skill set, and tool set. These are the 3 things that will be key in moving towards the future of work.
Nigeria is going to be an even more competitive country than it is today. And therefore, you will all have to learn the various skills needed for you to survive.
Key conversations bothered on reskilling, closing the jobs gap, and leveraging technology to transform the future.
Until you move from dreams and desires to vision, to execution, that vision remains a dream.
Accomplished professionals shared their stories and experiences as mentors while exposing participants to the future of entrepreneurship and agribusiness.
It's important that we get people who have seen it, who have done and have all of this industry exposure come to speak to the kids and watch them grow.
The interactions were very apt, so we enrich ourselves, with a lot of, sharpened ideas.
I would advise that we have such type of events from time to time that inspires and encourages youth.
Someone among them can be motivated by what I said. Tomorrow we'll build a financial service company that is bigger than ours.
I had this dream to go into entrepreneurship fully, apart from accounting, but I was scared. Like, what if?
Like now, I was having the mentality of if I have maybe 2 businesses together, I cannot be able to succeed. I get to know that, yes, you can be what you want to become.
Right now, I feel very pumped up to go back and sit down with my goals again and tell myself that my dreams are possible, my goals are achievable.
For the summit, leveraging Nigeria's possibilities are essential to nurturing a future-ready workforce and youth-driven growth. In Abuja, Tokwe Alabi, NTA News.
As part of efforts to drive the transition to compressed natural gas, CNG, and promote cleaner energy use in the transportation sector, the federal government has rolled out a series of supportive policies and training programs across the country. This was highlighted during the closing ceremony of a 5-day specialized mechatronics training held in Kano, organized by the National Automotive Design and Development Council. Awal Salisu has the details.
The training, which focused on the repairs and maintenance of CNG and petrol-powered tricycles and motorcycles, is part of a broader initiative to build technical capacity and ensure the safe handling of alternative fuel technologies. Muhammad Saifuddin, one of the 60 participants, says the skills acquired will not only enhance his livelihood, but also contribute to safer and more efficient vehicle operations in his community.
We just concluded a 5-day intensive training on CNG NAPEP conversion. We are very excited. We thank the NEDDC DG and the TVS company for bringing this program here in Kano.
This effort is part of the federal government's commitment to empowering local technicians and supporting Nigeria's energy transition through practical and grassroots level initiatives.
We expect them to make use of the training that they've gotten. They shouldn't just go see, they should go and establish. And we've equally given them empowerment tools for them to carry out this repair and maintenance effectively using the right tool.
By investing in skills development and technical education, the federal government is laying the groundwork for a future where CNG plays a central role in the nation's transport sector. In Kano, Awwal Salisu, NTA News.
As the peak of the rainy season approaches, often marked by increased boat mishaps, the federal government is stepping up sensitization efforts in riverine communities through the National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA. The Niger-Kwara area office of the authority led an awareness campaign in Zumba, Shiroro local government area of Niger State, emphasizing the importance of adhering to safety protocols. Musak Mikhail has an update on the initiative.
Blessed with vast water bodies across its 3 geopolitical zones, has tragically lost more than 300 lives in boat mishap over the past 3 years. In response to these concerns, the National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, has intensified its sensitization campaigns, emphasizing the importance of wearing life jackets, adhering to passenger manifests, avoiding overloading, and refraining from nighttime travel, key factors contributing to these tragedies. The area manager of NIWA's Niger-Kwara office, Akapo Adeboye, led a team in a stakeholders meeting with water transportation operators in Shiroro local government area, outlining water transportation codes and penalties for non-compliance.
For this year, I want to say that God has really helped us that we have almost zero tolerance, boat mishap this year. Just only one we recorded, which is Gajibo Moody. And we really ensure that we do that never again there won't be any more boat mishap.
We comply, in fact.
We apologize for poor picture quality in parts of that report. Sight is not just a sense, it's a lifeline for millions of people around the world. Losing their sight means losing their livelihood, their independence and their dignity. But what if we told you that there is a way to restore sight and restore hope? FCMB, through its Priceless Gift of Sight initiative, in collaboration with Tulsi Chanrai Foundation, is helping to restore sight and transform lives. Gufan Shaji Ugwanyi reports.
The fact that we have been able to restore sight to visually impaired people is priceless. It's one of the best parts of my job, frankly speaking, and FCMB has been at this. We've been steady on this initiative since 2009.
Bringing vision to life is more than just the phrase to FCMB. For them, it is restoring sight, one priceless gift at a time, and part of its way of giving back to its customers.
We have CSR pillars that we don't joke with. Poverty alleviation is a major pillar of ours. And how do you ensure that somebody who can see becomes productive again? Restore sight to the person.
The Priceless Gift of Sight initiative, in partnership with Chanrai Foundation, has conducted over 350,000 free eye screenings, distributed 6,000 free prescription glasses, and sponsored more than 20,000 free corrective surgeries, restoring sight and hope to thousands.
So we came to this hospital, they do operation. My own was because of sugar. So they did injection. Operation in my eyes. I just want to thank the FMB. I want to thank the Charas Eye Foundation. In fact, I want God to bless them.
As we come with tears, we go back happily because everything will be okay.
One of the greatest challenge which we have seen here was like people with glaucoma. They are not going for early diagnosis. So they are waiting till their vision is lost. Especially for glaucoma, if the patient come at the very fag end of his problem, we cannot restore their sight. So it is always better, people who are 40 plus, always go for your eye checkup so that if there is a problem, it is identified early and it can be arrested early.
Their goal is to ensure that no Nigerian goes blind and a long-term commitment to health, dignity and social equity. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji Ugwanyi, NTA News.
In a renewed effort to tackle the persistent challenge of childhood malnutrition, the Borno State government, in collaboration with UNICEF, has officially launched and handed over 2,254 cartons of ready-to-use therapeutic foodstuff for onward distribution to health centers across Borno State. The life-saving commodities were procured through the Child Nutrition Fund, CNF, with support from UNICEF and the state government. Pauline Kujevana was at the state's central medical store in Maiduguri for the ceremony.
Malnutrition remains a major public health concern in Borno State, exacerbated by years of insurgency, displacement, and the effect of climate change. Hence, this intervention showcasing the importance of collaboration and strategic investment in child survival. Head of Nutrition and lead of UNICEF Field Office Maiduguri, Joseph Victor Senasa, stressed the need for continuous synergy between state actors and development partners to ensure long-term solutions to malnutrition.
The government provided around 100 million naira last year, and with the Child Nutrition Fund, which UNICEF is managing, contributed the same amount to procure the 2,254 cartons of RETF we have handed over today.
Borno State Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Professor Baba Malam Gana, commended UNICEF for its support and called for the possibility of establishing local roof production facilities in Borno.
The impact of malnutrition, especially in brain damage to our young ones in the first 1,000 days of their life, is crucial. It's important that all of us work together to be able to get rid of this malnutrition.
This event highlighted the growing commitment of Borno State government to improving child nutrition and strengthening health system to secure a healthier future for vulnerable populations. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
And in education, the West African Examinations Council, WAEC, has dismissed as false and misleading a viral report alleging the cancellation of the 2025 West African Senior School Certificate Examination. In a statement, the Council's Public Relations Officer, Moyo Adeshino, describes the report as entirely fictitious and without any basis. She notes that the false information is the handiwork of mischief makers attempting to tarnish the Council's reputation and incite panic among candidates who sat for the examination. WAEC further assures the public that marking and collation of scripts are currently ongoing and the results will be released as scheduled. Immediate past Director General of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and two-term member of the House of Representatives, Cyril Maduabum, has decamped from the party to the African Democratic Congress, ADC. Maduabum, in a statement issued in Abuja, pointed out that the PDP, which he served with pride, has been hijacked by self-serving elements who are more interested in personal power grabs than in party discipline, internal democracy, or national interest. The PDP, he added, is now a shadow of its former self, stressing that the party has descended into chaos, internal betrayal, and systematic destruction by diverse forces who have no regard for the principles upon which the party was founded. Disability advocates are calling for prioritized inclusive support to address the challenge of mental health issues across the country, especially those stemming from neglected tropical diseases. Gufan Shaji reports.
These are where you see children working in the farms, playing in the streets, coming in contact with a lot of diseases that cannot be diagnosed.
Statistics show that Nigeria has a significant burden of neglected tropical diseases, often overlooked due to lack of awareness and sensitization.
And most times when people are diagnosed with this ailment, people assume that this is witchcraft. So the isolation and the trauma becomes too much to the extent that some people start to become suicidal. So what we're doing here today is to really sensitize the public on how to properly address these issues.
Some victims of neglected tropical diseases explain the necessity of improved support for persons with disabilities in Nigeria.
So I think there is need to increase knowledge of health workers and the aspect of diagnosing the disease and the right treatment. Also the knowledge of parents at home, just basic knowledge of what they will see and suspect, and then come to the health care, and then the health care workers will pick it up from there.
People that are working under the hospital, they are discriminating them, and them they have in their own facility, they have a clinic, but they don't have enough drugs in the hospital. They need government or some organization to brought drugs for their hospital.
They also urge stakeholders to join in prioritizing inclusive support for persons with disabilities affected by NTDs. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji Ugwanyi, NTA News.
In order to further strengthen the relationship between Nigeria and USA, the mayor of Houston, Mayor John Whitmer, has called for direct flights between Nigeria and Houston, as well as opening a Nigeria consulate in the state. A statement by Abdurrahman Balogun, the Director of Media, Public Relations and Protocols Unit, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. The directive was the highlight of the meeting between Chairman, CEO, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, and Mayor Pro Tem Martha Castex Tatum, representing Mayor John Whitmer in Texas, USA. The mayor noting that Houston hosts one of the largest populations of Nigerians in the U.S. Therefore, measures would further deepen collaboration in areas such as consular representation, trade and diaspora engagement. On the call for the commencement of direct flights, Dabiri assured that the ministers of Foreign Affairs and Aviation in Nigeria are looking into both requests. They both described the meeting as productive and forward-looking, underlining Houston's commitment to stronger Nigeria-U.S. ties. United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed has commended Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf for his strong commitment to advancing social development and promoting the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs). She gave the commendation during a courtesy visit to the governor at the Kanu Government House. Abdullahi Mustafa has the details.
The United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed is in Kano following a condolence visit to the family of the late former President Muhammadu Buhari in Daura. Beyond the condolence gesture, the visit was also aimed to deepen advocacy for the Sustainable Development Goals and to enhance collaboration between the United Nations and the Kano State Government. Discussions focus on key areas including healthcare, renewable energy, climate change and human capital development. While Governor Yusuf reaffirmed Kano's commitment to strategic partnerships with UN agencies in critical sectors such as education, healthcare, environmental protection, climate action, renewable energy and sustainable investment, the UN Deputy Chief assured him of the UN's full support and cooperation. She also commended the state government's efforts in women's empowerment, job creation and environmental sustainability initiatives that align closely with global sustainable development targets.
This is a center of much production and activity, young people, population, governance, and to hear really what the challenges are, how much progress you have made, and what can we do in the UN to support that in health, in education, in agriculture, in power.
Mrs. Mohammed also briefed the governor on the upcoming UN Business and Investment Forum, highlighting the potential opportunities for Kano State to attract international partnerships and investments. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Here is a recap of our top stories. President Bola Tinubu calls on Nigerian leaders to uphold moral values with boldness. Senate reaffirms no subsisting court order mandates recall of Senator Natasha and treats her to respect due process. Federal government widens use of cleaner energy in transport sector. Holds mechatronics training in Kano. Addressing child malnutrition. Borno State government enters partnership with UNICEF.
This is NTA News 24.
Muslim scholars are raising concerns over what they described as acts of abominations, crimes, sins, and incest that people commit in modern societies, calling for a change and renewal of positive attitude. This was at this year's Hijra lecture organized by El Biru Ebira Muslim Association of Nigeria in Abuja. Tokwe Alabi reports.
The conference hall of Anwarul Huda Mosque, Area 1, Abuja, played host to members of El Birru, Ebira Muslim Association of Nigeria, for the 1447 Hijra lecture. The lecture brought together Muslim scholars with conversations on the Ummah as emphasized by Prophet Muhammad to draw the attention of Muslims on the observed areas of deviations from the Prophet's teachings.
What was happening before the Prophet was sent, what is now even happening is worse than that, because this deliberate attitude and behavior of our people to abandon what Allah has enshrined.
With incest becoming a recurring decimal